Times Square, New York City. A lot of people around here as usual. Got an interview with Datwon Thomas, Vibe magazine editor. We're gonna spend a day with him. So follow us. Let's see what a day in the life of an editor is. Let's walk.
The product, the process, the people. Ethos Decorum.
My name is Datwon Thomas, and man, what do? I do dope shit. Well, at least I try, you know what I mean? But I'm editor-in-chief of Vibe magazine. I have been for the last 4.5 years. Prior to that, started King magazine, Rides magazine, was editor-in-chief for Double XL, started the whole freshman issue stuff. Just a wild creative, and always been one of those people that felt like writing and getting ideas, like content and concepts out to the world, dealing with music mainly, and culture. I just felt like I could lend my voice to that in a professional manner, and also help people understand our culture. So kind of like a conduit and a translator, and I want to say innovator to a degree, but I feel like I'm still innovating. I feel like after all these years, I'm still trying to find that thing that like breaks the super norm, so that's what I do.
How would you describe how you started in the industry?
I would describe it as humbling. Like, they always say humble beginnings. I'm a Brooklyn kid, born and raised up until I was 11, and then my stepdad was in the Air Force. So we moved to Japan in '86. So from '86 to '89, I was in Japan, and then came back home in '89. Lived in New Mexico on the Air Force base over there for like a year and change, and then came back home in Brooklyn for high school in '91. And been home since. And when I got home, there was only two things I just wanted to do, because I miss New York so much. It was, I wanted to rap and make beats, and I wanted to play basketball. So it's so funny that even today, 2 Chainz drops an album, Rap or Go to the League. Because even back then, when he dropped the title of that album for today, I was just like, damn, man, I was 14, 15 years old. This is 90, 91. And that's what I was thinking. It's like times haven't changed in the mentality, you know what I mean? So my beginnings were from wanting to do those 2 things. And then it evolved as I started to dabble more into production and getting groups and producing for groups. It evolved into me writing, because in high school, my English teacher was like, hey, you're kind of good. He had this competition with the class where we all had to like write a review of each chapter in Scarlet Letter by Nathaniel Hawthorne. And that was like, I'm super competitive. So started doing that, getting better. And he was like, yo, you should really look into writing as a career when you get older. Puts that little seed in my head, and here we are.
How would you describe your day-to-day as an editor? Well, first of all, what does an editor do?
Oh, man. An editor is like an all utility, like you're kind of like a Swiss Army knife. You got everything on it. You got if somebody got a wine bottle, you got the little corkscrew. If somebody needs the little knife for the flathead, you need something to poke through. Like, that's what an editor does, because you're taking concepts from other people and the work and soul that they put into, whatever they write or come up with, and you're telling them how to make it better. Can I tell you how to ask that question better? Probably can't, because that's the way that you ask that question. But how I can take it and say like, yo, if you add this layer and this layer to it and your lead up is this, that's what an editor does. Or they might say, let's take it down to here to get the person to answer in the way that they need to. Like you're trying to cover this concept here. or describe it as full as you can. Let people feel it without hearing it. Let them read it. Like that to me, that's like some of the best editing that you can have for people. And even before they write, like what I like to do is like I like to sit with a lot of my writers and editors, and even before they start, let's just talk about the concept. Let's just talk about what we're talking about. You know what I mean? And then you start getting concepts, start getting visuals, you start getting like, oh, Dip, that's an ill theme. Oh, I didn't even know that happened. That's what you do. So that's why I say the Swiss Army knife, because you have certain like copy editors that just deal with copy. They're not worried about how the visual looks. They're not worried about, you know, necessarily what the person is even saying. They just want to be able to say, is it grammatically correct? Is this lining up? Is this enough space? That's the technical aspects of it. But when you want to get the soul of Jay-Z talking, you want to talk to the person that's about to talk to him and say, all right, what's the plan? And that's how I like to edit.
How has technology changed your business?
How it changed the business is it made everything faster. And I would have to say it probably started when I got in 20-something years ago, because I got in as an intern in 96 at Vibe Online. And what ended up happening was we were doing stories before the print issue could come out, you know what I'm saying? And the fact that we can get stories up before the magazine was like, it was game changing. It was shocking to the people on the print side, and it was necessary because times were moving fast. And I think the time when I noticed, you know, technology at its peak during that time was when Tupac got shot the second time. Everybody just was like, oh my goodness, what happened? What happened? Getting phone calls from Vegas, and the online team was able to put stories together immediately and put it up on the web. The magazine had to wait. What the heck? You can't wait on this. This is like insane. You know what I mean? So to be able to do that, and then when it happened with Biggie at our event in LA for Vibe for Soul Train Weekend, we had somebody there from the team able to feed us information, and we were just putting it up on the net that quick. It was just like mind-blowing, man, to see things move in real time, especially for hip hop. So that's where I saw the change initially. But then when I saw the change was probably like after the first internet like burst, when everybody was running to do hip hop hip hop websites, 360 Hip Hop, you had Volume, we had one called Hook.com that Diddy was a part of. You had all these different hip hop joints. And then when all the money went away, everybody was like, see, the internet ain't real. Internet ain't real, man. This is crazy. Y'all spending all this money. And next thing you know, magazines grew a little bit and then just fell off right after, because the internet just came back with a storm. So it changed the game in so many different ways. It changed people's positions. You had to become a new kind of editor. You had to edit for people with shorter attention spans. It wasn't long form journalism isn't around as much anymore. Reporting is way quicker. Some reporting is, let's just get it up and fix it later. You couldn't do that in print. You know what I'm saying? So that changed like that. Personally, how it changed for me, it made me a lot more dynamic, and it let me know that I didn't have to be one kind of editor, or I didn't have to be one kind of content creator. I can do stuff on the web. I can do stuff in print. Might have to start learning new skills for the web. Might have to start looking at concepts for hip hop artists new for the web.
You're almost answering all of my questions and leading to the next, because the next question is, as an editor, you're dealing with your staff, you're dealing with the industry, and then you also have to deal with the perception of how we're doing in the public, right? So you're like a chief of staff. You're dealing with this, you're dealing with outside, you're dealing with upstairs, so to speak, because you work for a corporation. You're dealing with a staff. Then at the same time, you also have to be an ear to the street. When do you turn it off and say, I got to recharge? Because as a regular individual, I'm up at night 11 o'clock before I go to bed, spending an hour on Instagram to kind of catch up for all the stuff I've done all the day. How do you like shut that down to be able to come back fresh and look at the story differently?
That's a really good question, and I would have to say I don't shut down enough. And when I say shut down, I'm talking about like straight vacation, not dealing with anything, because essentially I don't shut down. I'm 24/7 pretty much. When I'm asleep, that's the only time I shut down, and I hardly sleep, you know, and I'm always traveling, dealing with things with family, friends, industry. It's like all these different things, and you know, then you throw work and you gotta make sure your health is right and all of that stuff. I think if you're in this and you dedicate your life to documenting a culture, or you document a genre or whatever, you pretty much say that you're signing up to give a great portion of your life away. So that means drained energy, drained creative, drained passion, and sacrifices. There are times when you can't make things for important family moments and stuff like that. I've been through all of that, and I still go through all of that. But I find somehow, man, I'll find a way to either make up for it or get ahead of it.
You work in a real complicated ecosystem, so to speak. How important are relationships?
Relationships are the paramount to every successful business. Good people are usually because you have a good relationship with those people. You're not gonna have good people on your team if the relationship isn't healthy. You're just not. You're gonna have talented people. You're not gonna have good people. To be able to have, I would rather have good people than talent. I really would, because the good people can grow into talent. And because they're open. If they're good, they're gonna be open to things. They're gonna feel like, okay, I can learn this, and then they'll bring something to it. Talented people, a lot of times, I feel as though they know they're talented. You know what I'm saying? And that could put up some walls and make things difficult if they're not good people with the talent. Being able to lead good people is another thing too. Some people like to lead with force and aggression and making people feel as though like the job is gonna get lost or whatever. And then other people, I think I lead in a different way. I lead in a way of, I like to give a lot of admiration to people and be like, yo, good job. That's what we do. You know, I wanna build that up. And then I also feel as though if I'm disappointed in somebody and I let it be known, like, I'd rather the disappointment hurt them more than like, it's not gonna help you get over the hump. Now, yeah, you're gonna have to get talked to, but you know, having like hostile environments don't lend well to creativity. You know, a lot of times people tend to kind of crawl within themselves with that and have all the dope ideas and we're like, nah, he crazy. this is nuts. You know, but that's just me. I've worked for people that were really like, you thought that you was gonna get hit. You know, I've worked for people like that, like, yo, and that motivates you in a different way. Not necessarily in a better way.
We're in an era where everybody's using catchwords, right? So everybody's like the culture, the culture, the culture. So as somebody who's watched the culture, become a part of it, and been a guard of the culture in some way, what would you tell to that young creative who wants to contribute to the culture?
Wow. So many of them that want to just get in and get their voices and their talent and their skills out to the people so they can be in and recognized. That's the main thing, is being recognized. I was that. I'm still that. I'm still looking at different genres of the game that I want to contribute to that I haven't before. And what I would tell them is to stay the course. You just got to stay the course. You just got to be able to believe that whatever it is that you're passionate about and that you create is going to break through. And it's not just gonna break through by sitting with you. You gotta get it out. You gotta put it on social. You gotta put it on a site somewhere. You gotta start networking, meeting people. You gotta start collabing with people. I know Issa Rae just said something like, instead of looking at Jay-Z saying, I just want to work with Jay-Z, work across the people that are around you that's the potential Jay-Z's. Work across rather than only up all the time. When I was coming in, it was a bunch of us as interns. All of us are still friends, best friends now, and we've helped each other in different arenas to lift us all up. You know what I'm saying? One of my boys is interviewing everybody under the sun at every major event you can go to, from Super Bowl all the way down to the Oscars. Another one of my friends is over, that we all came in together, is over doing, he's doing workshops with Sundance. Another one of my friends is being put in this like anthology, but like all of us just worked across. And now, because of that, we're starting to get recognition from the people that we looked up to. And then on top of that, we're getting recognition from people that are looking up to us, that want to work with us. So I would tell that young creative to keep creating. If focus is the hardest thing for you to do, what's taking your focus? Analyze, constantly analyze around you. Is it my phone? Is it my girlfriend? Is it me being a procrastinator? Is it really the money? Because a lot of times people say, oh, I can't do it because of the money. Word, really? All right, I'm gonna give you all the money and let me see if you can do it. A lot of times it ain't the money, bro. It's not the money. You might think it is. There's ways to get around that and collaborate with people to make it easier on you. I know you need money for certain things, but it's not always about that. It really is about pushing through. And I'm a testament of pushing through, staying the course, and being mindful that there are greater spirits that help you once you get on your path.